Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening, and welcome back to Computerized Start. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I'd first like to welcome the folks I see in the chat, Thomas, Retro Techie, and Eric. Welcome. And to answer your question, Retro Techie, no, the keyboard is not fixed. The keyboard is disassembled. And it looks like I moved something in the way. Let's fix this real quick. There we go. That's a little better. And welcome to Starbuck Tech and the Big Bad Biologist. Welcome. So I have the Franklin Ace 1000 keyboard on the workbench. I think my camera's focusing on it. I hope it is. And Joe! I've got... Oh boy, do I have buttons, Joe. I got a box full of, I guess technically, are half the buttons in here. So, I guess it was Friday, I did disassemble the keyboard to try to figure out what was wrong. And I have vacuumed out this part of the keyboard just to get all the loose little foam, little itty-bitty bits out. And I'll probably have to do it again after I move the remains of the foam and foil pads, but... yeah, this keyboard was completely non-responsive, and that's probably because every last of the foam and foils were completely shredded. But yeah, these are very low-profile keys here, Eric. Very low profile, and you have to wear metal gloves to use them, or at least Mylar or something conductive. So anyways, I'm first going to take and clean this board, because it looks like some of the foam might have disintegrated into the pads. And then I will set this to the side to let the isopropyl alcohol dry while I deal with the foam and foil pads that are in this box from Texelec. So I guess we'll spray some isopropyl here. And I brought out a new toothbrush out of the package because I didn't really want to get flux residue on this board. Maybe I should have put this through the ultrasonic cleaner, but I didn't want to risk the board. So I figured some isopropyl alcohol would probably take care of this foam residue. Or at least I hoped it would. because I want to make sure that the new pads have something really nice to be conductive to. I'll spray some more. VHS, welcome. Or Jeremy, I'll have to get used to that. So before the stream, just because it was noisy, I did try to blow off the foam bits that were on this board too. So hi, Retro Tech or Die. Welcome. Just trying to clean off foam residue from the keyboard pads. You know, maybe I should have... Hi, Action Retro, welcome. You know, maybe I should get an electric toothbrush for shenanigans like this. Or, all right, now this is a medium toothbrush. I don't know, because some of this foam residue looks like it's kind of dissolved into the board. I'm going to give it a little more scrubbing action. I saw a shadow on the board. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a solder break. All right. Yes, Coco's, awesome. I have a goodie that came in today too. I need to do an unboxing. So, since I haven't decided exactly what format I'm going to do the unboxing in yet, for all I'm going to say is that it doesn't sound like there's broken plastic in the box. And it was a hardware trade. And if the person I traded hardware with wants to admit to trading the hardware, I will gladly acknowledge it. I know that person is in the chat. I'm sure it will be said at some point. But yes. All right. Certainly that is got to I'm hoping that got all the residue off the board and it'll make good contact. And now I'm going to let it drip dry and hopefully not get I'm trying to make sure that serial number label stays on the board. In fact, actually, because the serial number labels on this Franklin Ace 1000 all match, I am actually probably, I'm going to try to do my best to not ultrasonically clean it, because then the labels might come off, although I guess I could try to reattach them. They seem to be in good shape. But the power supply, the logic board, and this keyboard, and I think the case all have the same serial number on it. So this is actually a matched set. The serial number isn't anything special, but, well, all the serial numbers match. So I figured I would at least try to retain that as best as I could. Now, while that dries thoroughly, because I don't want to mess up the foam and foil pads, the next step is to try to carefully remove the rest of these foam, the remainder of the foam and foil pads, to give you an idea of, oh, yeah. And apparently they are just going to, oh yeah, if that gives you any idea of how shredded the foam is. It's just coming right off. I think I need something better than that. Let me see. The ceramic is just slipping, so. Trying to see if I can just get something under the. Let me see. Maybe if I press the key and. Oh, are these actually. You know, that part might be stuck on the key with adhesive. Hi, Dave. The Hitachi 6309 is a faster drop-in for a 6809. I'll have to keep that in mind. I might need to vacuum while I pick, yes. Or probably what I'll do is I will vacuum after I pick, because the vacuum is very noisy, and I don't think vacuums count as ASMR material. Yes. I think this is going to be messier than I would that I wanted. So I think what I'm going to have to do is Joe wants a 6309 now. Well, the reason why I might need to keep that in mind, and I am going to get these everywhere, is because there is a project to build a Vectrex clone, and I know the 6809s are, well, they can be had. And maybe next week I don't know, maybe I'll be able to order some from Jamco before they sell out. But the Vectrex uses a 6809, but knowing alternatives might be good. So that's one reason I have so many of those oscilloscopes from work, is because I saw that project at one point and said, I'm going to build one of those. So, yes. Dental pick would be good if I had a dental pick. I'll add that to my list of things I need to buy from Amazon. So instead I will just keyboard dentistry. Yeah, no, seriously. But this is basically how you fix a foam and foil keyboard. Because after 35 years, or actually, I think this Franklin's close to 40 years old, well, the foam has exceeded its expected lifetime. And of course, for anyone that watched my stream on Friday, you would also know that not only did the foam in the keyboard exceed its rated lifetime, apparently the 6802 that was in here, the foam to foil ratio was off. Yeah, I've already vacuumed this out once, and I think all of the foil parts were already loose and the vacuum sucked them up. but these parts here are actually clipped into the key. You might actually hear the clicks. Do I have a small flat screwdriver? I actually might. Well, I might have a small flat screwdriver bit at least, which might be good enough. If I have a small flat screwdriver that's just a screwdriver, it could be anywhere. It's probably lost somewhere. There we go. Yeah, maybe this works. Actually, no, that's actually not. I think this these were working better. Let me see. Oh, you know, I might have something that might work. No, that probably won't. I might see if the edge of my chip lifter might be just enough to. No. Actually, if I can get it just right. There we go. So there's a little notch in that. And if I can get the notch right in that part of the key. Okay, that seems like I can get this under the little plastic thing just enough to flex it up. But you got to make sure you don't insert this too far or you'll probably break plastic. All you're trying to do is pop these little plastic pieces out. There we go. And yeah, that is how we do that. And then I'll sweep the foam out because I'm sure I'm getting foam bits in here. The any key will be a problem, yes. Although, let's see, where was it? There was someone, I think it was on I forget if it was on Low End Mac or it was on like the Macintosh Preservation Facebook group, posted a picture of a keyboard, and it was a very early, it was a keyboard. It looked like it was a 128 512 and plus, but before the kind of all the keys were standardized. And the one thing I picked up on that I thought was pretty cool was that where the escape key is now, the key said cancel. And of course, other people were commenting on the fact that this keyboard actually had function keys before. Oh, I forget exactly what the context of the function key comment was. But yeah, these keyboards had function keys, and it had a cancel key instead of an escape key. So yeah, I don't think this keyboard has an escape key. I don't think that was. Or was that? Oh, yeah, it does have an escape key. Never mind. I forgot. Although, interestingly enough, even though the Franklin Ace 1000 is an Apple II Plus clone, it actually has a caps lock key. Because I guess it might do lowercase letters, maybe. I'll have to be able to type on the keyboard before I'll be able to confirm that. So, and yeah, I haven't, I did actually, I think I found caps for recapping the this Franklin's power supply. I do want to check the ripple on the power supply, because if the ripple's fine, I think I'm going to skip recapping it for now, except, of course, replace the 2 safety caps I removed. I know they're just for RF emissions for the most part, but I do want to replace them. And I think I actually did find refa caps that are, they're not exactly the same part number, but because I think they're X2 instead of X class, but they are, I mean, they're basically the same size and everything. So it'll be just like the power supply was never recapped, except, of course, it won't smell like refa cap. Yes, Jeremy, I did get the kit from Texelec. I know when I ordered it, their website said it was back ordered, but I think that might be because they produced them to order. Because I ordered it, I want to say I ordered it after the stream on Friday, or maybe it was Saturday, and it shipped on Tuesday. And at first, the post office was estimating it'd be delivered Friday, so I wasn't sure I'd be able to stream this tonight. And then I just happened to notice this morning when I tracked packages, I was like, wait a minute, both the package I need to unbox and this package are both out for delivery. It's like, all right, I can work on an Apple II July video tonight. Which means, well, I don't know that Apple II July is really an official thing, but, well, Kansas Fest is later this month, and while I won't be going, I know some of you might be, and, well, I thought I'd do this cool thing to the lead up to Kansas Fest, even though and maybe next year I'll actually be able to go to Kansas Fest. I'll plan for it. Although, yeah. So, but I thought I'd do this, and maybe next year, maybe we can actually make Apple II July an official thing with maybe an official logo and an official website and more official participants, because I think this is really unofficial this year. So, yeah, I know. TechSelect makes great things. So and I actually wasn't sure their kit would work on this keyboard, because I knew about the kit, but I guess in the description it doesn't list Franklin computers, because I guess, well, it's not a comprehensive list. But after I disassembled this keyboard and realized that, wait a minute, these are Keytronic key switches, that I bet that kit will work on this. So, yeah, I haven't, that box is still sealed. I haven't opened it, so I actually do not know if those will actually fit. Unlike what I do sometimes and I open things early, well, I decided to do a thumbnail for the stream instead. Also, tomorrow's trash day, so I had to take the trash out. Let's see. And because tomorrow's trash day and I took the trash out, I forgot to bring a new trash bag downstairs. So now I've got this wonderful pile of parts and don't really, oh, there we go. There's a plastic bag that fell on the floor that's empty. There we go. I didn't want to, it's like, I do not want to just simply throw these on the floor because I will never get them off the floor. So let me just kind of, there we go. Put them in the bag. So yes, anyways, while I kind of clean my desk off from that foampocalypse, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, well, it's time to get on that. I've got plenty more 8-bit retro content in the coming days and months, including that box that I need to unbox on camera. Although it is not Apple II related, so I will not be opening it on this stream. All right. Yeah, I know. I probably have them everywhere. In fact, I will probably somehow manage to track one or two into work tomorrow, and I'll be looking on the floor where I work tomorrow, and there'll be one on the floor, and they'll be like, well, that's nice. All right. I am going to go walk over to where I have the vacuum cleaner and just kind of vacuum out the bottom of this keyboard. And for those of you that like ASMR content, vacuum cleaners are not ASMR. So I'm going to instead go to be right back. This will only take a minute or two. All right. And even though I actually paid for this item, so this is not a sponsored item, I am recording or attempting to record, assuming I think my camcorder might have run out of memory on the video card. Memory card, never mind. I guess I'm not recording like I thought I was. But I guess I'm still going to unbox this like I thought I was. But anyways, this is a foam and foil capacitive repair kit from Texelec. I think they're like $29 or something like that. Plus, like, I think I paid for first class shipping, and I already, oh yeah, I only paid for first class mail, and it still managed to come in 2 days. So here we go. Texelec foam and foil capacitive pads. And, all right, this might be a bit tricky to install these. Yes, I take unboxing very seriously. Well, some people take, like unboxing videos, and that's like all they like. All right, now I might have a slight problem installing these. It probably would help if I look at the instructions. Everyone in the, half the people in the chat are probably thinking, instructions? No, 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 get away from those. Just try to do it. Ah, there's a quick video here. All right, so I guess I need to watch the quick video, which is going to show using a dental pick to remove it, of course. Old pencil and, yeah. Well, if I took unboxing really, really seriously, Eric, I would have one of those safety box openers so that the chat didn't blow up on the, you're going to cut yourself with a scalpel, which would actually be pretty embarrassing, but. And then you just, I'm watching the video and I've muted the sound just in case there's sound. And so apparently you take the pad and he's probably commenting over top of it. And apparently Grudy's not the only person that uses shaky cam in his videos. And I'm trying to look to see if, yes, as I thought. Yep, okay. All right. Yes, I do need to actually kind of make sure those go down into the under the clip. So let me see what I have available to do that without completely destroying the pads. Oh, wait a minute. I've got a set of anti-static alignment tools. Let me see if by chance there is a little, there we go. That might actually work. Yeah, like dropping the scalpel on your leg. Or I was watching a video from another YouTuber that all I'm going to say is that I definitely availed myself of their squeamish warning and did not watch the them cut with, it looks like cut with the blade going towards their body, and that's, yeah. I don't know that they were seriously injured, but I fast forwarded to the time index they gave where they continued the video with a improvised bandage on their finger. That's how I'll put that. Anyways, clips are at the 12, 6, 3, and 9 o'clock positions, yes. So I will try to, there we go. I'll try to zoom in as close as I can. Actually, it looks like the camera is cooperating. So there are 4 clips. That hold, so what this foam and foil pad is there is a clear plastic piece on one side and a foil pad on the other. And foam in between, and you need to take the clear plastic and make sure it clips under the 4 clips. So there's a clip here, and there's a clip here, and there, and there. And as long as that plastic is under all 4 clips, then all will be well. Now the trick is it looks like maybe I should have ordered a dental pick if I'd watched the video when I ordered the kit. But I didn't realize the kit would ship so quickly, so... Anyways, that is what you want to do. So we get to repeat that. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 57, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72 more times. 72 more little pads. Ah, 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 ah. Yeah, installing these pads might take an hour or two, and yeah. Will people actually hang out for an hour or two while I install these things? Now that is the real question. Yeah, I didn't realize, I guess maybe when I scheduled the stream, maybe it didn't dawn on me on how long this was going to take. All I knew was like, well, this keyboard doesn't have 105 keys on it, so this shouldn't take that long. Yeah, give us the countdown on the 10s. 72 is equal to 12 times 6. Just go faster, Justin. Well, I mean, one doesn't get to 4,000 watch hours by going fast. Or maybe they do now with YouTube Shorts. I prefer YouTube Longs because live streams are way easier than scripted videos. And I think I'd find shorts even harder than a scripted video because, well, I think first of all, I'd have to condense my content down to a minute. I don't know. What's YouTube's length of a short? And second of all, I would have to turn my camera sideways. And that just doesn't fill a computer screen that well. Because it seems like shorts are only 9:16 or designed for the whatchamacallit, cell phone screen. You know, these would probably be easier if I would just dump the bag, or some of the bag into a, there we go. Dump some of the bag into the box so I can just grab them. All right, so I think the way I found is this is just a anti-static, or not anti-static, non-conductive adjustment tool that'd be used for adjusting potentiometers in a TV. It's the best thing I have that approximates a dental pick. And I'm just using it to try to get the this plastic bottom piece under the 4 clips. And hopefully I get it right. Yeah. I think depending on how well this repair goes, it might determine what computers I do and don't want in the future. So yes. Although, speaking of computers, oh, well, and I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Well, I might have something in the works. Just saying. There must have been some kind of tool, Adam. I agree with you. And hopefully it wasn't just the work faster, 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 because these are of course, given how particular these are to get in, I kind of wonder if the industry went to more mechanical switches because they were maybe reliable and more automatable than these. Because, I mean, maybe you could, maybe a machine could insert these. All right, which, by the way, there's 12 pads installed. Yeah, these are, yeah, if there were a way to press the entire pad down evenly, which I don't know that I really have a way that would do it. If I were going to repair these on a regular basis, I would probably devise some sort of a jig to do just that, Eric, to try to to try to push them down evenly. And yeah, Adam hates these foam things so much that he's altering a Lisa keyboard to use switches from a Mac 128 keyboard. Yeah, that that might be the idea. I don't know if it would be possible to do that on this keyboard. Although interestingly enough, earlier this year I was watching a Macintosh 2, or not a Macintosh, an Apple II Plus on eBay that someone had actually put one of these keyboards on it. It eventually sold. I do have a basic socket set, Jeremy. I think I see where you're going with that question. Let me go see if it has a socket small enough. Hold please. Let me go walk over to the socket set. Jeremy might be the hero of the stream. I might have also lost the socket. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see here. There's a 5mm and a 6mm. And there we go. Here's a couple sockets of varying sizes. That might actually do it. Okay. Oh, I just found a random resistor on the floor too. Awesome. All right. So I think the closest socket I have is 930 seconds. I don't know that I want the... All right. So let's see here on this one here. Yeah, I think the 930 seconds is about the closest I have to the size of these. So if I put one of these pads in and then press it down, and then I'm just going to take a look here. No, actually that did not clip it. It got... All right, well, let me see if that was a fluke. It felt like it didn't get all the sizes. Although maybe the... No, that end's too big. Let me see, maybe I didn't quite get it centered. No, I don't think that got it in on one side. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's getting them in. Probably needs a thin wall. Yeah, I don't have any... Yeah, it was an idea. It was worth a shot. I suspect that a jig for installing these would probably involve something like that. But yeah, that seems to be close, because it seemed to be getting one or two of them in, but not all four of them. Another thought I had is if you were to like take the keycap off of the other side to remove this part, but I think maybe if you were building one of these keyboards at a factory, that would be the way you would do it. But I think for rebuilding one, I would spend just as much time pulling keycaps and putting them back as I would just just installing the foam pads with the stem on them. So I'm just gonna continue on. So had to order caps to repair the dingy one. Yeah, caddy cornering it. That's another good idea. Luckily, I do have let me see how that did. All right, I think that. Wait, I think that approach might have worked. I think put it in at an angle to try to get one of the clips, and then hey, I think that's actually working. I don't know that I had a 5/16 socket, but I think this works here. Put put that in under one side, and then kind of roll it around. That seems to be working for me. So I'm going to keep going with that. Yeah. Yes. Suggestions from the chat. Oh, yeah, I'm still with Adam. The modifying the 128 keyboard for Lisa is still a good idea too. All right. Yes, woot. Well, I guess if I find one of these isn't quite right, this keyboard isn't the most difficult in the world one to take apart. So, yeah, there we go. I've lost count where I am, but anyways, yeah, we'll get these done here and no time at all. Create a new PCB with Cherry MX switches. Done. Yeah, that's a. I don't know how many Franklins there are floating around for doing that. If Franklin completely cloned the Apple keyboard, then I would say yeah, because then you could have Apple and Franklin computers, but at least for the Ace 1000, the keyboard has extra keys that aren't on the Apple keyboard. And I haven't really looked at the chips on the keyboard to figure out how it ticks, like what the encoder is. It's probably a programmable chip, much like other keyboards, though. In fact, for all I know, the encoder might be very similar to the one Apple used. It does look like it's a Signetics of some sort. And guess with this faster approach, the one thing is, yes, Adam, I really do want a Mac SE. It is on my list. The Mac 128, however, as I was mentioning during Mac Yak, it's on my I would borrow one list, because honestly, I think for all I really want it, because it is probably practically what I would end up doing with the video that the 128 would be in, is show that it really was under, it didn't have what it really needed to be successful. So, but I'm not anywhere close to that video. Before I would even attempt that video, because it would probably really be in the context of a match between the Amiga, the Atari ST, and the Macintosh. The three computers that were using the 68K processor. And I don't have an Atari ST. So at the moment, so if anyone's out there is like thinking, yeah, I wouldn't mind loaning you a Mac 128 for that, well, I'm not anywhere close to doing that video, so you can, that, and as fragile as those are, I'd probably try to borrow one from somewhere where I could go pick it up, just to make sure it didn't get damaged in shipping. So, but really, that's all I want a 128 for. In fact, actually, for that, I could probably even borrow a 512, and I'd probably come to the same conclusion, or a similar conclusion. And actually, that would be closer to what the Amiga and the Atari ST would have been competing with at the time. So, yeah, I definitely, Steve, if you're watching, I definitely do not need to borrow that prototype 128K. It would detract from the video. And I would be constantly worrying about something happening to it while I had it, so I don't need to borrow a prototype like that. But it's kind of one of those video ideas I have about so you've got which the Franklin could be part of, videos about the 8-bit era and some of the computers that were of that type, and also around that basic book that I used to learn to program. So there's the 6 computers in that book that I am on my way to actually having an example of each. But then there's the 16-bit computers, the first of them, not counting the TI-99-4A, sorry. Well, actually, it might even be in that video, too. But probably to kind of show that it was not the 16-bit home computer hero that the world needed. But kind of you have your Amiga, you have your Atari ST, you got the Mac, and I don't know, maybe I guess a 286, or I guess the IBM AT would have been the other computer, but well, I don't know. Adding that one in the mix just isn't quite as exciting. Maybe it's having the original Mac, which I guess effectively won what I guess would have been the competition for being the number 2 player in the market. because IBM and the compatibles were number one. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to put those in the video. There's enough other people that do the DOS. I'd kind of like to take the angle of the race for the number 2 position in the market. And I think that it would have been, I guess, Commodore with the Amiga, Atari with the ST, and Apple with the Macintosh that would have been. Although, you know, in some way, I guess the 2GS might have also been the other suitor, but I don't know, maybe that one could make an appearance in that video, because it would have been the other suitor for 16-bit, even though it really, I guess, effectively was, well, the very rare Atari PC. That could be interesting. I mean, and there are equally just as rare as some of the Amiga PCs that Commodore came out, or no, it wasn't the Amiga PC. It was I guess Commodore PCs came out like right before they went bankrupt. But I don't know. Not quite. Doesn't quite excite me as much. And yes, Jeremy, I do agree that the 2GS was sabotaged. Because it definitely had capabilities that the Macintosh didn't have, but, well, I could probably take one guess which team at Apple did their best to sabotage the 2GS. Yeah. Adam has 4 Apple II GSs. He can network them all together and have a 64-bit Apple II. Yeah, now that's I guess where you were saying that you were going to eat dinner and watch Star Trek. The first quote that came to mind was, "That's officer level thinking." Now let's see if anyone can guess which. I think that was in one of the movies. Let's see if I can remember which movie it was actually in, to see if anyone in the chat can guess which movie that obscure quote was in, without going to IMDb, because I'm not I don't know if it might be too obscure to have made the quote section. I think I do remember which one it is now. Yeah, I remember which Star Trek movie it's in now. So, yeah, HDMI output on the Apple II GS. Yeah, I bet that, is it with the RGB to HDMI? Yeah, yep. Yeah, exactly, Jeremy, that's exactly what I was thinking, that Jobs in the Macintosh, it had to be number 1. I mean, I guess at some point the 2GS probably would have, I mean, I don't think Western Design Center was on track to be making, I mean, I don't know, maybe if the 2GS took off, then maybe they would have been the Apple IBM Western Design Center alliance, maybe? That doesn't have the same ring as Apple, IBM, Motorola. But oh, it's a native HDMI card. Really cool. Yeah. All right. I don't know if anyone else is counting the because I certainly have lost count, but I think we're down to about 12 to go. And I guess the really cool thing is well, some of these I think I'm not getting in as well, but I guess the cool thing is I can put this keyboard together with just a few screws and test it, and if I find that one of the foam and foils is not quite right, I can always just take it apart. Oh, that reminds me, yeah, that reminds me, Adam, I forgot to call eBay. They're about to drive me crazy. I'm having trouble verifying a payment method with the eBay seller. Which is getting annoying. Because I can see the pending amounts in with my bank, and I entered those two amounts in the system, and this is actually the second time I've tried it, and the system rejected the amounts. And it lets you try 3 times before it'll then make you completely start over again. And actually, the weird thing is, so the first time I did it, it rejected all 3 attempts, and then actually one of the charges actually posted to my account, although the other's still pending last time I checked. And interestingly enough, it's a different amount than it was when it was pending. So for the second time around, I did try it once with the pending amounts. It refused them. So I'm actually waiting for those to post to the account. I'm half expecting that I'm hoping that the problem is that I just have to wait for them to actually post, and they're posting, I don't know, eBay did something really weird. I've never had that problem before. Usually with all those authorize your bank account, as soon as you see the pending charge, you're good, because that's going to be the amount that it actually posts as. But I don't know, maybe eBay got clever, or their system's gone haywire. Let's just say I sold something on eBay and I'm not entirely happy that I've had to completely, well, restart the process. Because every time you add or change a payment method, they delay payments for up to 48 hours. I'm not, yeah. They're gonna drive me nuts. Anyways, what can I do? I guess I sold the item for more on eBay than I probably would have been able to otherwise, so. I guess in other news, if anyone looking for any Amiga parts, some of the items I bought for the Amiga 1000 and I'm actually not going to end up using, I have some of those listed on eBay. Mention the my stream in your offer, and I might be willing. I might take lower than I would just for anyone. So. Yeah, I sold a SCSI adapter for the Amiga 1000 that I I actually wasn't going to be able to use because I can't find the drivers for it. And yes, on the eBay listing, I'm hoping the person that bought it read it very clearly, because at the very top of the listing, I very clearly put that I was not able to test this. I cannot find the drivers. Maybe you know more about Amiga than I do, and there's a generic driver that'll actually work with this, but it also, yeah, offered, probably won't be able to, oh, hi, Tom. And Jack68K. Oh, I guess I could zoom out. All right. I have put new foam and foil pads in the whole keyboard. So, yay. Yeah, I think at the moment I have a it's actually, I think, an Amiga 2000 memory upgrade board, which actually, yeah, long story on that. And one of the other upgrades for the Amiga 1000 that I've got something better to use, so I'm going to sell that upgrade to pay for the other upgrade I bought. All right, so anyways, I have the keyboard. The foam and foils are in place. I need to take the wide angle. I've got the keyboard board. It does appear to be dry now, so I should be able to put this back together without any issue. And I think it should just be a matter of lining up the screw holes. There we go. And let's see here. Finding the screws. So these are these are those self-tapping plastic screws. So you want to screw them backwards and then forwards to make sure you don't create new threads. All right, and actually for these, what I'm doing is I want to get a couple more in. So I haven't driven them in all the way. I just want to make sure I've got things lined up. Oh, Jeremy, yes, I have found a solution for the Atari 400. I will live stream that at some point. I would also, I also wouldn't mind, I can let you know what I bought. I'll send you an email. I'll let you know what I got. Because I don't remember what it is right offhand. But yes, I did find a video upgrade. It was a fairly decent price. And actually, I guess it was Friday when I went to the thrift shop Friday, I bought some cables to use to splice and use to connect to the video upgrade board I bought. So, but yeah, I think I figured out how one could use a tiny comp in the Atari 400, and I could probably draw it out on, take the schematic and draw what you would have to do, but I don't want to do it to my Atari 400, so, because I would have to cut traces. I don't think there's a way to do it without cutting a trace or two or three. And since I only have one Atari 400, even though it's not the greatest of the Ataris, the Atari 800 is better. Has a better keyboard at least. Yeah. All right, I wasn't going to put all the screws in. I just wanted to put enough in that I thought that I could press some of the keys. Although I think I do need to at least put something in the middle here. Actually, maybe I should just put all these screws in. I don't want to bend the board too bad. But, I saved so much time on... Oh. I might have the board misaligned. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, I think the Atari 800 has a different video signal. So you might be able to, you could probably use a tiny comp on it without as much trouble as the 400. Although I can't say for sure, I haven't looked at its schematics. But yeah, I know there's video upgrade kits for that too. So cool that you got one, Adam. Ouch, that was somehow just stabbed a resistor lead into the side of my arm. I don't think I actually broke skin. That was weird. Anyways. All right. So I've got not all the screws, but enough that I think I can press keys and not bend the board too much. I just won't press them too hard. So I think it's time to plug it in. Let me I just have the power supply off to the side here. Let me... All right. Or actually, the Franklin board here. All right, so... Let's see here. Deposit video. Power. All right, I think I got power plugged in. Keyboard. Let me see here. Plug the keyboard in, right. Like here. I do still have the Atari 400's processor in here because I haven't ordered anything. And oh. Hold on. OBS forgot the resolution of the capture card, and that looks awful. All right, let me open up the Vision software so that I can, there we go. Oh, and then of course, OBS is going to freak out and change the size again. It first decided it would set it to 320 by 240, which no one could see, and then it decides, oh, well, maybe you want it to be like orders of magnitude larger. Okay, so we've got the ACE 1000 version 2.2, and I think I need to do a control break. Oh, a reset maybe? Hey, wait a minute, 10. Print. Hello. Hello, world. I never said that Franklin keyboards would make me type better. 20. Go to 10. Run. Control reset. Control. Thank you, Adam. Control reset. You know, the Franklin keyboard does not appear to have a reset key on it. It has escape, break, pause, and control. There's shift lock and the weirdest tab key in the world. But yeah, the keyboard works, but there is no reset key on it. Control C to end the program. Control C, there we go. So I guess maybe that's why they put a big red reset button on the front of the case, because there's no reset button. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's weird. Whoa! Oh, no. Yeah, oh. Yeah, we didn't catch, no capture, yeah. No, actually, I think I popped something in the power supply, although maybe it might have not been me, it might have been age, but I saw the magic smoke come out of the power supply, and it wasn't the reefa caps, because those have been removed. I saw, it looked like the processor, it looked like the computer started doing what it was doing with the other processor, and then I power cycled it, and then I saw a puff of smoke come out of the power supply. And I'm trying to look to see if I see where the smoke came out of. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, I think the processor that belongs in my Atari might be dead now. I think the power supply might have. Okay, maybe me setting the keyboard on top of the power supply might have done something. Although it was on top of the power supply before when I powered it first on. But yeah, I sure thought the smoke came out of the power supply. Granted, okay, so the bottom of the PCB is fine. I'm trying to find the all right, if anyone sees anything that's amiss, yeah, the operation was a success, but the patient is dead. Yeah, I think I fixed the keyboard and did I simultaneously fix and break the keyboard? I think I misidentified where the smoke came from. Yeah, I think I set, in my excitement of fixing it, I set the keyboard down where I didn't mean to, and yeah, I should secure that PCB. Unfortunately, I think the smoke came from here. I may have just shorted the keyboard out in my excitement. Well, that would be an anticlimactic conclusion. Yes, I should have screwed the power supply board in. But I did not, because I realized that too late. So I do not see anything with the power supply, but I will test it. But first, I will put some screws in it as soon as I find where I set the two screws. Because I put them in a super safe place for safekeeping and have now promptly misplaced them. Oh, here they are. Okay. Well, it looks like just a trace, but I won't know for sure until I fix the trace and try the keyboard. But let me, maybe the trace gave its life for the, I'm hoping I didn't fry the keyboard controller. And if I did fry the keyboard controller, maybe Joe can, maybe Joe's encoder for other Apple keyboards replaces the same controller as the one Franklin used, albeit with more keys, so that could be awkward. Okay. Yes, learn from my mistakes. Don't be hasty and not at least put a couple screws back in the power supply, like so. Well, like so. There. Now there's 2 screws. Not all 4 of them, but 2 of them. That should be enough. That should be enough for what I'm about to do. And that is, I'm going to check the voltages on the coming off the power supply. It's probably not the best that I do this unloaded, but all right. Okay, so I've got negative 12 volts on the brown wire. Negative 5 volts on the orange wire. Ooh, okay, that's 5.7 volts on the red wire, but that might be because I have no load. And 13.68 volts with the yellow wire. That is, yes, the table is metal. I have the ground wire attached to the power supply. Actually, I need to, seems good mostly. I really don't like those, 2 of those voltages were really high, but I do know that if this was a switch mode supply, oh, well, yeah, okay, the Franklin motherboard was, there, it's on a silicon pad now. Okay, those are fine for no load. Okay, the Franklin motherboard actually has rubber feet on it, so it was not, it shouldn't have been shorting on the table. Yeah. Okay, well, let's see what it does. Also, if anyone's concerned, the outlet everything's plugged into is a ground fault circuit interrupter. So and I do test it. Test by fire. Okay, so let's see. Well, it does appear as if the Franklin still works. So maybe it's not dead. Maybe I just killed the keyboard, that trace on the keyboard. All right. All right, well, let's see if I can't, let me see if I can't fix that trace on the keyboard. Face it, maybe what I really want, maybe I knew that you all like it when I solder, and I just wanted to give you all a soldering stream. All right, the magic is still inside the motherboard. I'm hoping that maybe that trace, oh. Check for shorts on the keyboard connector. Well, well, actually, there's probably no shorts right now because the trace is broken, but I guess let me just check. I'll do a really quick, oh. You like to, yeah, you all like to watch things explode. Let me fix this trace first. Then I'll check it. Let me see here. I've got some bell wire somewhere. Actually, you know, that's a heavy enough wire. Maybe I should use something other than bell wire. And no wonder I can't find any tools. They all fall on the floor when I manage to drag them off the table. All right, somewhere I have some wire. There it is. Wow, that is really thin wire compared to that trace. Am I able to repair a Mac floppy drive? Yeah, there's no better time to learn than now, Adam. How's that for you? I've never repaired one, but I think I can do it. All right. Well, all right. So I am going to okay, first I am going to cut the trace so I can get the bad part off the board so it won't continue delaminating. There we go. And actually, I don't think there's any solder mask on that. Actually, there might be a little bit. Okay. Then, because actually, Adam, I actually have a Mac floppy drive I got to repair at some point. So why repair one when I can repair two at the same time? Yeah. Yeah, the one I have to repair, I think it just needs a good cleaning and lube. But I'm not totally sure. It might need a new gear too, so I'm probably ought to just order a pack of gears. Really wish I could. I wish there was a distributor in the States for those, because then I could get them quicker. Because inevitably I don't realize when I'm going to want to live stream something sometimes until trying to get it shipped internationally is too close for comfort, if not already too late. Okay, yeah, cool. That'll be cool, Adam. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, I will take that as a learning opportunity to repair floppy drives, because I got to do it at some point. Mac Effects sells gears. Okay, that's good to know. All right. Well, so anyways, what I'm first going to do is just try to get some of this enamel off of the wire, and it's as simple as burning it off. Although this wire is so small, I realize it's probably off camera. You'd have trouble seeing it anyways. Boy, is my basement going to smell good in the morning. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, if I'm gonna repair floppy drives, I definitely want the molded ones. So good to know. I'll go check out Mac Effects probably after this stream. All right. So I got the enamel off of the wire. Hi, Garth. Bye, Garth. So I'm going to apply some solder to both sides of the board. So that I can then hopefully solder one side. Probably realize I haven't. Yeah, no, Kaikoba is another good place to get the gears, but that requires a little more planning for ordering, because although I think shipping from Japan's usually not, well, probably not too bad. And I think I cut the trace trying to cut my wire. Well, I'm going to be, all right, well, let me add another solder blob there. Actually, I was thinking of, yeah, because this is a pretty thick trace. And, oh, it looks like I've, yeah, I think I am going to have to apply some flux somewhere. I was actually wondering if I could just use this wire to, let me at least check continuity with that wire. Although that's weird. Oh, there we go. Oh. I just want to make sure that the method to my madness will be evident here in a moment. I just want to make sure I didn't, I'm okay. Just trying to double check that I didn't like do more than I think I did. Okay, and then that via goes there. And then I'll go find, I'm actually just gonna go grab a little piece of bigger wire because this trace is big enough that I'm going to try the, let me just make sure I still have continuity down this via, because it looks like it's a 5-volt rail. Yep, okay. And I'm glad I put the cap on my scalpel, because that's now on the, well, it's not on the floor, but it's, oh, not reachable as well. Okay. The one MacFX sells are back K. Okay. MacFX is a US distributor. Good to know. All right. Yeah, that wire is not going to cut it. Let me, oh. Oh, there's another thing on the floor. Maybe I should be called Mr. Butterfingers today because I'm... Okay. I think this is like, I think it's like 20 20 gauge wire. I really should probably apply just a little bit of flux here. Let me oh, come on. Okay, maybe that's not going to work. Is it fixed yet? No, it's not fixed yet, Jay. I broke it more. Trying to replace a fairly thick trace with a thicker gauge wire, and that's not working well. So I guess I'm going to go to plan B. Well, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe I can, okay. Let me remove this bell wire right there. Try to make sure the solder ball doesn't do anything. All right. All right. I got that side of the wire attached. Let's see here. Cut that right there. So now I want to remove this other side of the bell wire, or at least let me just tack that down. There we go. Now let me find something to cut that bell wire off with, because my scalpel is where I can't really reach it. Also, I just want to put a little more solder . There and here. Okay, I think I fixed the trace. I hope I fixed it right. If I did not, then well, I will know shortly because the keyboard still won't work. Or that tantalum cap right there will blow or something. So the moral of the story here is move fast and break things works better for code than it does for keyboards. Also, maybe I need to break down and order another couple of those silicon mats for things like this where I need to insulate multiple things. More testing. All right. Okay, so there's still continuity there. Still have continuity there. And yeah. Okay, yeah, these caps are supposed to have, so it should have still have continuity there. Yep, that still has continuity. That still has continuity. Okay. All right, I think there's ceramic cap. Okay, I think it's time to test it. Let's see here. Okay, I have a cardboard box to set the keyboard on, just to make sure I don't set it down on a metal surface, because that's what got me into this problem the first time. You'd like for me to get a bigger desk so I have even more room to not be working so dangerously. Smash that like button and maybe enough likes will turn into a desk someday. I don't know. Or maybe you could buy me a coffee on coffee so that I'm not so stressed out. I might have a little rescue plan for another potential Apple II July project in the works. A bigger wooden desk. Yeah. A mat between the keyboard and the computer. I got a cardboard box. I don't have it. I'm out of mats. Bigger desk just gets more clutter. Yeah. Okay, yeah, maybe enough likes will turn into a bigger wooden desk so that I at least have a wood desk surface for one of them. I mean, unfortunately, when I bought these desks, lumber costs were through the roof, so I didn't really have a choice. Okay. On three. All right, well, that's... It looks like the keyboard still works. Looks like the Franklin still works. I might have somehow... I guess that smoke came from the keyboard and not the computer. It's alive, yes. It is alive. And we'll see if anyone gets my reference there as I go over and to this other bench and grab something that I can't really use. But if Joe's watching, then he'll probably respond in the chat when he hears this noise. All right. Yay, yes. I didn't manage to do permanent damage, and I fixed a trace. All right, and this is how we'll know that, yeah. All right. We'll see if, we'll know if Joe's in the chat. Maybe. Well, that's good. Yeah, not sure if anyone heard that, so we'll I'm gonna hit the reset button. Oh. Okay, no, I'm not going to just simply hit the reset button. There we go. More than one way to get the noise again. Yes, I plugged in the floppy drive. It spins, it clatters, it makes noises. Unfortunately, I have no floppy disks. I have no floppy disks for it. Yeah, control. I think Franklin. Yeah. So actually, Adam, there is one thing if you might throw in the box. If you could make me a boot disk. I have no just like a DOS boot floppy. I think like DOS 3.2 or 3.3. I don't know which one I need. I gotta figure out if this thing does 13 or 16 sectors. But yeah, I have no disks to even try in here. Yeah, that would actually be helpful, Adam. And actually, all I could use is just like a disk I could try to boot it with. Because that would be more than I can do. I don't have a floppy emu, and I don't have any Apple disks. Well, that's not entirely. I do have one Franklin disk, but it was shipped in the floppy drive of the Franklin 500, and okay. Oh, that's good to know, Adam. I'm glad I mentioned it because I hadn't had a chance to research it. Yeah, 3.3. No Franklin ever did 13 sectors. Okay, good for Franklin. Okay, DOS 3.3 then. Yes. Yeah, I do have one floppy disk. It was shipped in the Franklin 500's floppy drive, and the disk is trashed. Obviously, it looks like the head of the floppy drive smashed into the disk media. So I'm not even going to try to boot that disk. I'm not even sure where I put it. I think I did keep it, but it wasn't anything of any significance, luckily. It was like a some word processor program. Give it a try. Okay, well, let me go upstairs and try to find it. It should be on my desk. So, yeah, give me a moment. Let me go see if I can find that disk, because you're right. The worst that's going to happen is the drive's going to make the angry, grindy noise when it goes back to track 0, and it's not going to read anything. You're right. Let's give it a try. I'll be right back. I gotta go upstairs and get it. All right, well, I've got some bad news and some good news. Bad news is it looks like the disk was not on my desk. the good news is I saved the labels that was on the disk that fell right off because of how old the disk was. And considering it's the ProDOS version, I don't know if it would have actually run on the Franklin 1000. So, yeah, apparently well, it's quite possible when I cleaned my desk, I threw the disk away because it was physically damaged, because it's not, was not on my desk, or I stuck it in a box somewhere. One or the other, I don't know which. So I can't try booting this. And yes, I did think to check to see if I had stuck it back in the Franklin 500's floppy drive, and the answer to that was no. I did not do that. Yeah, bad ProDOS. Yeah, I suspect that it would totally work fine on the Franklin, but yeah, I don't think it'd work on this, so it's probably just as well. I mean, I guess it would have started to boot, but we wouldn't have got very far. So, yeah. All right. Well, I guess the important things are I got the keyboard repaired and then broke it, but then repaired it again. It looks like it's typing nicely, so I can give the TechSelect repair kit a 2 thumbs up. It will work in the Keytronic keyboard for the Franklin Ace 1000. I can at least see that the floppy drive will start to chatter if you connect it. There's the word I was looking for. So, yeah, I guess the next things I need to do are to, I do need to, hopefully Adam can remind me what the, yeah, thanks Adam. That'd be great to get some new discs. Maybe Adam can remind me what that stuff was he got to clean his Apple II board, because I think I'd like to get some of that. I'll get a jar of that so I can clean the dust off this motherboard, because overall it looks pretty good. I don't want to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner because of the serial number, but I think I would like to try that, whatever that was that Adam was using to get the dirt off this board. It sure did a good job on his Apple II, so I'll give it a try on this. But yeah, I guess I will, yeah, I'm glad I fixed the keyboard. That was, yeah, the goo. Yes, the goo. Whatever the goo was. Or unless it's called the goo, which it could be. I will get some goo, and then I will clean this board with the goo, and then I won't remove the serial number label. That, again, yeah, 80788. 80788 and 807, oh, you can't see the power supply one. 80, it's covered, but 80788. Jay's still soldering. He says I can't stop yet. But, yeah, let's see. Let me see if there's anything else I can do to give Jay a few more minutes of entertainment. Adam's going to send a link. Awesome. Actually, I know what I can do. Jeremy asked about the video upgrade for the Atari 1000, or the Atari 1000. It's getting late, if you can't tell. For the Atari 400, let me go over to the place where I have it stashed, and I'll show you what I have for it. After all, the Jay, it's 11:42 p.m. here. I can't go another hour. Actually, I probably could go another hour, but I'll regret it in the morning. All right, so the Atari 400. I have some cool upgrades for it that I just went ahead and ordered because of the shipping schedule of the Brewing Academy. But for the composite mod of the Atari 400, I have the Brewing Academy's, oh, well, actually, it's Brian's Ultimate Atari Video. It's this cute little board here. See how cute it is? I mean, it's not as cute as the Tiny Comp. Yeah, but so this comes with a, looks like I might have bent some pins putting it back in the bag the first time I looked at it, but okay. So it comes with a socket, but I think the chip that it plugs into is already socketed, so I may not need the socket. But yeah, it plugs in to the Atari 400 where the one of the chips. Which chip? It is the, I can't remember which chip it is. It's the CD4050. And so it plugs in place the CD4050. You have to, it does come with a wire because you have to run a jumper wire from one point on the board to pick up the color burst signal. But this board, the CD4050, has all the other video signals. And so this actually not only gives you composite video, but it gives you S-video. So I will actually have even better than composite video. And the reason I like this is I don't have to cut any traces. I mean, I don't mind soldering a jumper wire because you can just easily unsolder that. But it plugs in place of a chip that's already there. And on my Atari, the chip is already socketed. So how cool is that? Yeah, so I'll have S-video. That will be pretty nice. Now, let me see if I can put this back in the bag without bending any pins. I can always straighten them out. But, so, Brian's Ultimate Atari Video. Yeah, I'll keep the chip. Don't worry, I always keep the boards I remove from vintage computers so I could reverse the mod if necessary. All right, and because I was reading on the Brewing Academy's website that sometimes when you do composite mods, you lose your SIO audio, I ordered the internal audio board that will install in the Atari 400. This is actually so if you remember when I tried to mod the Atari 400, I soldered 3 wires. That was actually for this board. That's where this board plugs in. So I've got one of these. That'll give me the audio out, and it'll retain the SIO audio. So that's for audio. All right. Also, I would like to thank Jeremy for tipping me off to this board. I ordered this from Tindy, which if Jeremy has the link to the Tindy store handy, you can post it in the chat. Otherwise, I'll anyways. So this is a 48K RAM card for the Atari 400. I mean, that's all I really need to say about that. So it will require 4 jumper wires to be soldered on the underside of the board. I think those pick up the bank disables from the cartridge slot or something like that. So yeah, I don't need some wires, but there's the board. That'll give me 48K, which will let me run lots of software that I wouldn't be able to run otherwise. Plus, it does it in a way that is, yep, there we go. Jeremy just put the link in the chat if anyone's interested. They also sell them on eBay, but they're like $5 cheaper from their Tindy store. Yeah, it'll pick up the address lines, that's it. So, I've got that. Also, because I had some interesting looking capacitors, oh, actually that is the cap kit. Oh, there's a fireball. So I have a cap kit from Console 5. That was so nice to just be able to order one thing and boom, I'm done. I got the capacitors. Oh, nice, the 32K board. Yes. And last but not least, and I haven't even tried this yet, but I was browsing eBay, which is usually a bad idea, and I'll admit it. And maybe I will open this up because there is something loose in it, but I picked up an Atari 1050. I think that cap kit has all the caps. I'll have to double check though. So I picked up an Atari 1050 floppy drive. It's got something loose in it. So actually I'm tempted to open it up now and see what's loose. Jay wanted a little more entertainment, so Jay's going to get it because I did just remember there's something loose in it. It came with a couple cables. I think these are the cables to connect the floppy drive, or I hope they are. So I suspect this will need refurbishment, especially because there's something loose in it. I know Jan Beta did a video on these. Yeah, those SIO cables are special. All right. Oh, yeah, that was just all the screws falling out of the bottom. Way to go, Justin. Yeah, I wanted to get the floppy drive before I ordered anything for the floppy drive. Because if I got the drive and it was... Oh. I think I now know what was loose in this, and that is... It's actually kind of a... Oh. Okay, it was one of the metal pins that holds the floppy drive into place. I'm trying to get the front panel off without cracking the tabs, because there's actually a piece of broken plastic from something. All right, there's the top cover. There's another one of the metal pins. Oh, it's one of the gaskets for the floppy drive that cracked. Okay. So it looks like I've got... Oh, good. Okay, so I have all four pins. And I realized that oh, that's 11, 12, 14, Okay, so let me take a quick picture of this board before I unplug these cables. Luckily, they're numbered. How's the belt? I got to get the floppy drive off. So just one moment. I just want to take a picture of the cable orientation. Actually, let me take a picture of the other cable orientations. Because it would be a travesty if I refurbish this thing, plug the cables in backwards, and fry the floppy drive. Luckily, these cables here, which you can't see because I need to be able to see to unplug them. Luckily, these cables here have a marking on them as to which goes where. So I've got a picture of them so that I can remember which side is which. And there's enough of each stamping on them that I can, that I can put them back. So Jeremy is recommending to replace those rubber isolators that are actually now more like hardened plastic with O-rings from the auto parts store. And I would agree. The belt is original and probably needs replaced. The drive shipped with the drive mechanism closed, so hopefully that's okay. Looks like I'll need lubricated, but yeah, it's a big drive. It's a 5 1/4 inch drive. It is fairly large. It's not as large as the like full height ones that IBM used in the original PC, but yeah, it's a pretty big drive. Yeah, so I'll replace these. I'll find some O-rings to replace those rubber standoffs because that probably going to be necessary. The voltage regulators look like they're in decent shape. The capacitors, the way they're designed, I'm having trouble telling if they're bulging or not. I'll probably recap it because those are going to be... Is there a manufacture date on this? No. Okay, what are the dates on the chips? 945, 8244. Okay, so this drive was probably made in early 83, so this drive is going to be almost 40 years old. Probably should recap it. Oh, look at that wonderful factory bodge. Wow, that's special. It looks like this PCB, they forgot to connect the two SIO ports together. Yeah. Okay, maybe the caps are okay, but that's a special bodge right there. I mean, seriously, it looks like someone forgot to route a whole bunch of wires between the SIO ports. Or there's something otherwise wrong with or this PCB. There's something wrong with them. Oh, actually, oh, that's neat. That's really neat. Don't know if you can see that, and I don't know how much closer I'm going to be able to get. That is there's another factory bodge. Yeah. I gave Jeremy a laugh. That's awesome. There, right there, some Atari employee or employee of the factory Atari was employing to make these had to scratch a trace off. Probably because some of the wires going between the SIO ports were, not only were they... Hey, Bruce, take a look at this wonderful bodge. Some PCB designer at Atari was having a bad day when they laid this board out, because I think they forgot to route a whole bunch of signals between the two SIO ports. And one that they did, they had to scratch out at the factory because it's probably wrong. Yeah, that is quite the lovely bodge. Quite the lovely bodge, yes. And actually, it looks like someone's done some rework on this board too, because there's a chip on the underside. It looks like there's some flux there. So that, yeah, I know, that's been, someone's reworked that chip. Ah, it's on a socket, so that's an LM 3086. Okay, that might actually not be... Okay, that's probably not factory, because a date code of 945 is going to be 1989. So that, it looks like someone blew that chip up at some point later in its life, or it failed, and someone's gone in, at least they socketed it. And Jay, I might have had my fingers crossed behind my back when I didn't actually verbally say that. But yeah, that's quite the bodge. Yeah, someone has been in here, because actually the other thing is, it looks like someone's had this metal shield off before. So, as LGR would say, let's go thrifting. I'm going to say, let's go inspecting. Yeah, someone's had this off before. Ooh, I see. I spy another bodge wire that looks like one of the factory bodge wires. I bet there's going to be something special under here. Oh, maybe not. Well, I guess I should have known. Whoever was having a bad day the day they laid this board out. Actually, it looks like this might have been made by Tandon for Atari. Because right there, copyright 1983, Rev E. Tandon Corporation. There's our Western Design Center. Let me actually put these chips where I can actually look at them. So that's a... probably like some sort of I/O chip. That's obviously going to be a EEPROM. So there's a 6507 made by Rockwell. I think that's going to be a 6502 type processor. There's a Motorola 6810, and here's a Signetics something or other. Probably that might be the I/O chip. Yeah. April 1983. Yes. February to April 1983. I know. This is like... Yeah, I know. Apple's drives... I'll agree with you, Adam. Apple's drives were, in their simplicities, just... Yeah. Woz figured out how to do it with a couple chips, and everyone else was basically putting a small computer in their floppy drive. a riot chip. Anyways, that's the 1050. It actually looks like it might, looks like it's in good shape. I might actually try powering it up. I don't have anything to boot it with, but at least power it up and see if it works, or powers up. The Atari's kind of not in a condition to try plugging it into it. It would be nice to know if it powers up. So yeah. So yes, while Woz was making these really clever designs for floppy drives, well, everyone else was putting lots of parts in their floppy drives so their computer could do stuff. All right. Actually, and I guess the cool thing is the floppy drive uses the same power adapter as the Atari itself. So I'll all right, so let's see if I can put this thing back together. I mean, how hard could it be? I've only had it apart for a few minutes. All right. Since I don't live in a place that's big enough to have a 24-hour delivery service for auto parts, I will make do with what I have. So let's see here. 65, riot chip is a 6532. Okay. Flux engine for, flux engine. Oh, okay, I'll take a look at that, but I do have a grease weasel. So, of course, I don't know if it can do Atari format discs, but... All right, so this one rubber gasket is... a little pieces... All right, I don't have the whole thing, so... But at least I've got the 4 pins back in place, and maybe... Oh, no. Single car collision in front of Adam's house. All right, so... Let me go ahead and carefully plug these back in. So I took pictures. The yellow wire goes to the back on that connector there. That's probably power for the floppy drive. All right, looks like on the front cable that connects the floppy drive on the front of the drive, there's a black wire that goes towards the back, and the red wire goes towards the front, or at least on this revision. Can't guarantee that's the same. And then for these other cables here, which I will attempt to connect, they're... Oh. All right, first let me see if I can set the floppy drive down on the pins. There we go. All right. So these connectors are let me at least get to where I can see what I'm trying. Let me zoom in. There we go. So these connectors have markings on them, and some of them aren't that great, but enough of them had enough of the marking that I can actually read them. So J14 is the one that's in the back, and luckily there's 14 on that one. And then the next one is J10, and that's the one that just has a, it looks like it says J9, but it's marked J10 on the board. But it's the only one marked that way, so that one's next. And then the next one is the one that has the 4 wires that are not white. And at least on this one, the red wire is towards the back. And then J12, which is actually a short connector, but it, at least on this one, actually says J12. If I can, there we go. So it says J12. And I can't say that on your drive these might be marked as well as these. So obviously if yours aren't marked, you'll want to add your own marking. So you can put them back. Anyways, I take it Jay is doing something where my playing bingo of the cable connectors is not helping him find component locations. Sorry, Jay. And then hopefully, oh, that's why I see the problem. Standoffs have been broken, it looks like. All right, so I'm going to have, I bet when I turn this drive over, the floppy mechanism is going to fall out of place. Yep, I felt the floppy drive move. I am probably going to have to find some like something to fill the gap to keep the floppy drive from falling out of place when I turn it over to put the screws back in, because I suspect I'm going to have to take this apart again to clean it when I can actually test it. Yeah, I'll shove a piece of foam in there. I've got many things that I can use to take the space. I just don't have the brain power to find that right now. Oh, and actually, I don't need to turn these backwards because these are, yeah, old Bic pen barrels. There we go. That's, and actually these screws go into metal inserts, so actually I don't need to turn them backwards. Or at least these 4 screws. The 2 in the front may go into plastic, or they might go into the floppy drive. Okay. So I'm going to carefully turn this back over. Baking soda and super glue, yeah. Okay, so the metal standoffs stayed in place, so I don't have to worry about those causing trouble when I plug this in. I think the power adapter for the 400 is the same as the one for the floppy drive. I hope, because 9 volts AC, 31 volt amps. Let me get the one that came with the floppy drive. I'll test them both. But at least I just want to make sure that output, no, they are not the same. Oh, I must be thinking of the 810. I think the 810 floppy drive might use the same one. So actually, it looks like this one uses a, oh yeah, that makes sense now that I think about it. This one uses a DC. Because I didn't see a bridge rectifier now that I think about it. Let me just double check. No, of course it doesn't say anything on the bottom. All right. Well, I'm fairly sure that if I plug a DC power adapter into something that really needs AC, it's not going to do much of anything. All right. All right. Yeah, okay, it's the 810 that... I've got a power LED. And that's about it. All right, I guess I am going to need to get the Atari put back together to do any more with this. 9-volt AC pack for the 1050. Okay, because this is the adapter I got with this drive, and it definitely says DC on it. Wow. It says 11.5 DC. This is not a switching power supply. You know, now I'm kind of regretting having put the screws on it because I would like to check the voltages inside of it. Okay. Please hold. Yeah, and maybe Atari took advantage of that fact at some point to use a DC power supply instead of AC. Because it's actually an Atari branded adapter. Or maybe in this case, I lucked out and maybe this was never the adapter that came with this drive. Yeah, the 1050 is an old linear. Yeah, that's what I figured. Well, yeah, I know it has linear rectifiers in the power supply, but it looks like the external power adapter might be well, the external power adapter is not a model of efficiency. Oh. Okay. Okay, my dream workbench for the basement is one that is preferably about 30 inches deep, not 24 inches deep like this metal desk. And it has a shelf that I can actually put things under. Like this power adapter that is instead under the bench because that's about the only place I can put it. And because I need my ideal workbench to have some totally ridiculous feature I want it to have a cappuccino machine. Oh, so this is the wrong adapter? I only have the one that, the only other Atari adapter I have is the one that came with the 400. Yeah, buy me a coffee so I can afford a deeper workbench, because lumber prices aren't as crazy as they were last year. Thank you. I need a bigger workbench. Okay. Oh, that's... Okay, I don't know which pin is which, and I don't know which linear regulator that is. That's the LM... I can't read it. But that doesn't look like it's got a good voltage on it. Yeah, I think this might be the wrong... The 400 adapter... Okay. So what does this 11.5 volt DC adapter go to? Does anyone know? Because actually, if I'm going to double check my return period from this eBay seller, because if they sent me the wrong power adapter, I may look and see if I have a return period on it. Okay. Bad eBay seller. Oh. Well, by golly, that actually fits better. Ah, I left it turned on. Okay. The drive ID, both these switches are over to this side. I don't know what ID that is. I'm not... So I got 24 volts DC going into that one now, and 12 volts coming out of it. That looks much better. Is there a model number on it? It is a... C018187. Input 120 volt AC, output 11.5 volts DC at 1.95 amps. It was made in 1983, it looks like. Ah, Atari Flashback. Wait, Atari Flash? Isn't an Atari Flashback a new device? Because that's got a date code of 83 on it. Or at least it appeared to have a date code of 83 on it. Whoops. Oh, did I? So that's 12 volts in. And where? Hold on, I'm having trouble reaching my probe to the lead of that linear regulator. Because it's behind the... There we go. Actually, I think I think there might be a dead linear regulator on this, because I'm not reading anything. I may have to take the board out, power it up while I'm measuring from the bottom. Okay, so that's 4.9 volts DC. Okay, that looks good. 5200 adapter. If I cycle the power, does the drive LED come on? No, the drive LED didn't come on, but I did see the spindle move. Yeah, that linear regulator does appear to be. All right, let me pull this out. So, wow, something is getting quite toasty warm. And as my grandmother might put it, yeah, you would be too if you were a linear regulator. Okay. All right, so now I can actually measure this. I can get to the lead that I couldn't reach. It's got. That's the middle pin. Yeah. Atari loved cheap parts. Are you? No, Jeremy, you are not mistaken. That. All right. Let me disconnect this again, because it looks like I'm going to have to either give this some TLC or check my eBay return period. Depending on how bad the damages are. I got a decent enough deal on this that would have been fine for buying a new floppy drive belt and recapping it. And yeah, even replacing a 7805, that's not a 7805. It says tip 110 on it. I have no idea what that actually is supposed to be. It is not marked 7805. No, the 7805 is on the other side. It's this one here that's not reading anything. And it's looks like a Signetics TIP110. Oh, maybe that's a knockoff LM7805. Well, cheap 7805. Yeah. I don't, whatever it is, I don't think it's good. But Jeremy, you are not mistaken. That power connector is quite corroded. It actually almost looks so bad, it looks like it might be, might have had a run-in with an arc. It looks that bad. All right, let me see if that comes off with some isopropyl. Okay. Yep, Jeremy. So here's the 12 volt. So the 12 volts here, the 5 volts here, and I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, I don't think it's. Do these have negative 12 volt maybe? Because it might be negative 12 volt. Which if so, I probably might have been checking the wrong pins and we'll need to check again. Okay, whatever is wrong with that power connector, it is not coming off with isopropyl alcohol. Oh, actually it looks like that's the copper underneath whatever plating was on this. Oh, so maybe it's not corroded. Maybe that's just the copper. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Oh, it's just general purpose transistor. Actually, both regulators seem to be generating the correct voltage, although maybe they should be replaced just because of how cheap Atari parts are. No, my biggest issue is I wasn't expecting to have to get a power adapter for this. It was supposed to come with the correct power adapter. So if I do return it, because I've got a return period. Actually, okay, it's a transistor. That part's a transistor, not a negative 12 volt. Yeah, if I return this, it's because the power adapter is wrong, and the price I paid, it wasn't really a great deal for having to then buy a power adapter. Yeah, I may just replace them if I got the thing apart. They're a dime a dozen. We'll see. I just didn't plan on having to buy a power adapter for this thing. Maybe I can, or maybe what I'll do is I'll see if I can't get a partial refund. Then I can then buy a power adapter for it. So that is the Atari 1050 floppy drive. Somewhat disappointing. I've got a power adapter for a 5200. Because I don't have a 5200. All right, but yeah, I'll check with I will tell you exactly how much I paid. Because then the YouTubes can tell me how good or bad of a deal I really got. Just hold on for a moment while I find the email. All right, here we go. It was more than $65, Jeremy. I maybe didn't get so great of a deal. Because actually, with shipping and tax, I paid $100. So, yeah, I paid $100, which is, I I do remember when I thought it was a good deal, I probably overlooked the fact that how much shipping they were charging. But I did also see they actually had SIO cables with it, which was a plus. Before shipping, it was $75. It was $21 shipping and $4 sales tax. I'll have to look and see if Console 5 sells the 9-volt AC power bricks. I mean, I've got one, but it's the one I use with my NES consoles. Although maybe I can mod one to not need it. No, I can't use that AC adapter for this. It doesn't output enough. It's not capable of outputting enough current. This is just like a 1 volt or 1 amp. It looks like I need 3 amp or something like that. All right. Yeah, I know the retro consoles are kind of going ridiculous. I'll take a look at that link, Jeremy. Yeah, especially if I return this just because it isn't meeting my standards of what I expected for a drive that came with was supposed to come with the power adapter, but didn't. So yeah, I guess if this had been as correctly kitted together, then maybe $100 would be on the high side, but especially because it had the SIO cables. I think without the correct power adapter, it feels like too much to me. Although maybe I'll check and see what SIO cables are going for, because it did have 2 SIO cables with it. Or, well, actually, it has 2 cables. I don't know that the second one's an SIO cable, honestly. It might be. And I just dropped one of the rubber spacers on the floor, which I guess I'll have to find if I do. I'll see if I can't get a partial refund from the seller, honestly. Then I'll, yeah, because I may not get the... Yeah, that's the thing. I may not be able to get... The SIO cables may not be with another drive. And it looks like... Did this really come with... Oh, yeah, maybe this did come... Actually, you know, this one cable doesn't really look like an SIO cable. It looks like it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like it's... Well, maybe it is. Yeah, maybe I'll just... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I... Yeah, I have yet for eBay to be that generous with me. But yeah, actually, Adam, that's a pretty good idea. I will see if I can get a partial refund and then sell the incorrect adapter, because it appears, I mean, it appears to be working correctly. The voltage was a little high without a load, but that's probably correct because it had no load. And then I can buy an actual proper adapter. That's a good idea. And then I'll still have the SIO cables. So anyways, I think that's where I'm going to call this stream, because it is getting quite late. And I am getting to the point where I seem to be dropping everything onto the floor, so that's probably a good sign to stop. I'm sure I will, sometime in the future, you will get the continuation of the Atari 1050. And we'll get to see those cool upgrades get put into the Atari 400. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me tonight for the keyboard repair, the keyboard breakage, the keyboard re-repair, and then the taking a look at the goodies I have for the Atari 400. So don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you aren't already, because I have more fun retro vintage computer stuff coming, and I'd like to see you next time. So with that, I'd like to ask everyone to take care, and I hope to see you next time. And have a great night. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.